Hi, I'm Russell Brumfield, author of Whiff, The Revolution of Scent Communication in the Information Age, and an authority in the multisensory and marketing design business. Do you ever wonder why you just gotta have a Starbucks, or you love your iPhone, or you religiously root for your favorite team, or you dedicated shop to your dropper? You might say that these are some things you just can't do without, or after all, you work really hard, you take care of your spouse, your lover, and you truly deserve some of life's little pleasures. Well, many of us consumers have what can almost be called an addiction to certain products or even brands. We might buy things that we don't need or can't afford, but we also do it without regret. Ever take a trip to a Home Depot for one item, come home with a carload? I have. Personally, I run to Barnes & Noble's for a particular book and find myself bringing a tall stack back to the counter, and then spend another hour accumulating a second stack, which makes for a very expensive trip to the bookstore. Well, I'd like you to take a look at these consumer habits and see how they're actually very much like a sort of religion or cultish behavior. In all actuality, the things that you love to do usually are the product of a multisensory immersion. More or less, they involve at least 4 out of the 5 senses: touch, taste, sound, sight, and scent. And more importantly, these pleasurable experiences contain an uncanny similarity to the rites, rituals, and traditions that you can find in any particular popular religion. And when you incorporate these 5 senses with specific rites of passage, unique customs and rituals, and then insert a sense of tradition with certain activities, you've actually, you can measure and create an experience that's tantamount to a religious experience. Let me explain. Now take Catholicism, for example. No offense to anybody that's Catholic, we're just taking this as an example. It's an age-old religion that's been established almost 2 millennia ago, but they use the 5 senses in every aspect of this religion. The founders really knew how to deeply entrance their followers and to ingrain their specific belief systems. Regardless of whether you're a Catholic or a Christian for that matter, or what you believe, it's the actual experience that grabs the mind and the feelings, and ultimately the need to repeat that experience or go back to the well for more water. Now in the Catholic Church, we find a whole lot of rituals, but let's examine some of the most impactful rituals, those involving all of the senses. First, sight. Now this is the easiest area to understand from the standard architecture common in most Catholic churches to the iconic nature of Christ upon the cross, the many familiar shiny objects used during the masses and other rituals, like the candles and the chalices and the anointing bottles and the baptismal fonts and the altar covers and the banners and even the beautiful censers and bells and bread boxes, all of which hold the product that actually offers us a complete multisensory immersion. Now think of the sounds, this is the next sense, of the Mass, the music, the ritual of listening and repeating out loud, the beautiful music of the ancient Gregorian chants. And touch, well, the faithful are immediately immersed in the experience of touch as they enter the church. You're first encouraged to dip your fingers into the holy water and touch yourself and do the sign of the cross. I don't know if I did that correctly. And then there's the act of kneeling, and then standing, and then kneeling, and then standing. It's a heck of an experience. It's a multi-sensory touch piece. And don't forget the ritual of the rosary. The rosary is a complete touch. Think of doing texting in the rosary, it all ties in. And taste, well, there's the body of the Christ in the bread form and the blood of the Christ in the wine form, so we're drinking and eating the Christ, all done in a very ritualistic fashion with an intended show of submission as the congregant actually kneels before the priest. This is very much ingraining a specific feeling, belief, and brain tattoo while you're doing this. Finally, we have the scent. Speaking of tattoos, the ritual of incense burning, which in our new book, Whiff, shows that scent tattoos any emotional experience upon the emotional centers of the brain, never to be forgotten again. And whenever we smell the scent, we will relive the entire experience with our mind's eye, in full living color, in the form of pictures and feelings and memories. Now let's compare this to the experience of a dedicated shopper. This is a different type of religion. First, we anticipate the experience by whatever rituals we have individually. We may dress for the experience in advance. Even I don't take my car to my favorite mall until I have it washed because I use the valet. We may clip coupons in anticipation. We may check the advertisements in the newspaper, go online to see what's on sale. Then we take the trip, and for the addicted shopper, his or her heart might skip a beat upon the sight of their favorite mall or store. Is that Neiman Marcus? Anyways, you might have the habit or ritual of stopping for a latte, as I do every time I shop, or you might eat in your favorite place when you go shopping, or you may visit the Godiva store for a sniff and a whiff, or the food court for a free Asian delicacy that they're giving away to try to bring you in. You hear the music playing in the background, and even more prominently, there's Christmas music during the holidays. You might visit the perfume counter for a sampling of scents and olfactory diversions for the new scents, but you might finally come to visit your high priestess of the favorite store who attends to your spiritual needs as she queries you upon your inner needs, and listen to your confession while you say to the lady at the clothing area, "I'm too fat for this style of clothing," or "I don't want to highlight this body part or that." And so therefore she takes your confession and she comes back and dispenses. Her dispensation is actually bringing you clothing. And then you encounter the ritual of the dressing room and all the emotions that come with it. For some, this is an addiction, and for others, it's a drudgery. It all depends on how you feel about your body, regardless of the size of your wallet or your body. If you look at particular products, other products like cell phones, these are products, automobiles, or even a trip to Starbucks, you'll find a multi-sensory experience in the form of rites and rituals and traditions. For example, there's nothing like driving a new car. The look, the sound of the door closing, which actually they spend millions of dollars on perfecting. The tick-tick of the turn signal, which in a Jaguar has a specific feel, and in a Rolls-Royce, even a different feel. You have the feel of the wheel, the state-of-the-art sound system, and of course the smell of new car leather. Now these are all combined to drive us to buy that new model and to go into deep debt when we can't even afford it, in essence to drive away with a new car with a simple anticipation of more or less a religious experience. These are all multisensory aspects of buying a product that is very similar to religion. Now, when you're sitting in the chair in the salesman's office, waiting in anticipation to see whether they can squeeze down your monthly payment, think about how you might feel if you were in the convention booth. Anyway, you can almost taste it. That's where the taste comes in the car experience, and that's exactly where they want you. Think of how Starbucks, another great brand, big brand, has incorporated the five senses and the rituals and traditions by actually making up their own language that you have to learn, as well as the cool music and the atmosphere of the store, and of course the scent and taste are an innate factor. Total multisensory immersion experience. Or how about the ritual use of your computer or phone, the texting, the touching, the sounds and the clicks, or the famous age-old piece now, AOL's "You've Got Mail." It's important to understand that the more addicted you are to a product or a brand, the more it's likely to have most of the elements that I'm speaking of here. No matter if you're into sporting events, or using a platinum card, or an Apple computer, or a GPS system, or even a Google. All of these experiences were designed to convert you to the next religious experience, the experience of that brand. And this is the religion of consumerism. Now, you may now be well aware of this and well informed, but you may not care. It's because of the economy you hit up a Dunkin' Donuts instead of a Starbucks. Don't fret, my child. Just say 3 Hail Marys and convert. And believe me, you will not end up in hell, even if Dunkin' Donuts may seem like hell. Thank you.